Yeah. You find young people learning a trade, medicine, carpentry, something, 3 years, 1.5 years, were good man. He has stopped. 1.5. A girl goes to learn how to sew, 6 months. He has stopped. People come to church, they become born again 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, they already ordained themselves as apostles. They are bishops. They go to Methodist bookshop and go and buy a clerical. After the clerical, you can go and buy a clerical and put around your neck. Buying the clerical doesn't make you a pastor. Pastor is a calling. So at age 12, Jesus was conscious about his assignment. And guess where we found him? They found him in the temple. He made a choice. Hello? So it is important that even as you are entering the year, you have to, some of you will have to go back and realign your choices. Because sometimes if you are at the wrong place, it may be because you have made choices. And those choices have consequences. Why do we make choices? What should usually guide your choices? Some of the things that I usually would talk about in meetings, in conferences, are usually based on life experiences. There are some of the things that you might not really find in books, but you'll find in the school of life. Because I realize that life can teach you better than books can teach. You can be a professor and not really understand what life teaches. So it's always important that life will teach us very valuable lessons. Some of the things I'm going to be sharing with you in a very few minutes are as a consequence of the life that we have gone through. My life is a testimony because my parents never went to school. Some of you are fortunate. You had parents who went to school. My father could not read and write. The only thing I'm sure my father knew was lotto numbers. And so when I was a small boy, they would call me, come and write single 1, single 2, 42, 3, 10. That was all that my father knew. My father could not read. My mother could not read. Sometimes I'm taking my little girl to school and I said, you are very fortunate that your father has a car and I drive you to school and drive you back. My father never owned a bicycle. Hello? My father never had a house. We rented. We were all living in a single room. I'm going. Should I go? One of the things that should guide choices are values. What do you see as important in this life? What you see as important in this life is what is going to guide the choices you make from now till the day we die. Hello? Even when we are growing, some of us, now that we are growing, we are even beginning to make choices about how we want to die. We don't know when we will die, but we can determine how we want to be buried, how we want our funerals to be performed. We are making choices connected to that. Hello? One of the things I'm going to put in my will is that when I die, I don't want people to come and read tributes. I want you to tell me how you feel about me today. Don't wait until I die before you come and lie at my funeral that the man was a good man. When you knew I wasn't a good man. So tell me today. I've been telling my wife, don't come and read a tribute in my funeral. I don't want like fake people. Your work people will come and read all kinds of fake things. Church members will come and, whilst we are on air, whilst we are your pastors, give us to Tafrit. Men wait for us to die, then you come and lie. My young Tafrit says here. Hello? Hi. So values. What do you see as important to you? Those of you who are young, you don't pay school fees. Your parents are taking care of you. What do you find important? For me, when I was growing up, because my background was zero, I defined who I wanted to be in my life and who I didn't want in my life. What I found to be important was studies. That was what I found to be important. So one of the things that should guide our choices, number one, will be our values. What do you see as important? Nyamusron and Adismian. These were the two most important things that guided my life, even to today. If I'm not teaching in the lecture theater, I'm home. If I'm not at home, I'm in church. That's all. You wouldn't find me anywhere. You wouldn't find me in club. You wouldn't find me dancing Soroku. Even when I was a small boy, I wasn't dancing Soroku. I came to learn Soroku here in the central region. I fashion no before it's a Soroku. Somebody in Soroku. Do you know Soroku? When you Soroku. Not the way you are quiet. I think you don't know Soroku. Why is Soroku important? Soroku. A Dramansa. People are following. Some of them barely naked. Values. You have a choice to join the Soroku or not. During Jesus' affasciata, there was Soroku. Soroku didn't start from today. When Jesus went for the affasciata, no Soroku came. And so Jesus decided that this Soroku thing is not connected to my value system. So he went back to the temple, listening to the doctors of the law and asking them questions. People older than Jesus today will follow the Soroku. Hello? Number two, sometimes you hear of the word destiny. And Krabia and I shepherd. Have you heard of shepherd? Have you heard of Krabia? So, name is shepherd. Or name is Krabia. Destiny. The word destiny, you can just expand it to mean destination. So destiny means where you are going, where you are heading. That's your destiny. And every society has how it helps us to understand destiny. Some say God gives destiny. Some say, we choose our destinies before we are born. Whether it is God who gives or it is we who choose, ultimately we are all involved in determining how we will end or where we are headed towards. Hello? So your destiny or your destination will definitely have to guide the choices you make. I teach university classes and sometimes I ask my students, so where will you go from here? They say, I don't know. My parents chose the course I am leaving and they even filled the form for me. And I'm saying, like, seriously? And for most of you, I'm sure you don't really know where you are going. From today, you should start making choices directed at where you want to be. So your values or where you are heading towards should guide the choices you make. No student ever wants to be a medical doctor and plays with everybody. No medical student will dance Soroku at a fashion. No. Because the journey to medical school, the journey to becoming a doctor is a long one. 7 years of schooling in the university. Everybody does 34 years. Medicine, they do 7 years. Every day they are in the lecture theater. Every day they are in the laboratory. You cannot decide to be a doctor and dance Soroku. It's not connected to your destiny. You can't want to be a great preacher. You want to be a pastor and you don't pray. It doesn't happen. So your destination or where you are seeing yourself, where you want to get to, should determine the kind of choices you make in this life. And I'll suggest some of the choices to you very shortly. So destiny, Jesus knew that he had come to the world to save mankind. But he wasn't just the Son of God, and so because of that, where everybody went, Jesus could have been playing football at age 12. Where did they find him? They didn't find him on a football field. They didn't find him playing soccer. I'm not saying playing soccer is bad. They didn't find him in a video club. They didn't find Jesus in, where? In a cinema hall. They found him in the temple. Because his destiny was connected to the activities of the temple. He was to become a preacher. He was to become the savior of mankind. To become a preacher and to become a savior of mankind demanded that he made a choice that was connected to that destiny. So where are you going in this life? Where are you heading towards? Hard work is important, but hard work is not important if you don't know where you are going. So to make right choices, you must know where you are heading towards. Hello? I've spoken about destiny. I've spoken about money. Let me speak about anger. Is anybody here who has never been angry before? Who bones? Let's clap for you. Although anger is a negative emotion, sometimes anger is useful. And I'll tell you why. Hello? Good. Jesus was angry several times. He was angry at unbelief, angry at sin, angry that people had turned the temple into a market. So Jesus one time took a cane and drove people out of the church. Why? Because of anger. He channeled that negative emotion into something productive by cleaning the temple. In the same way, anger is not necessarily bad. You can become angry at your situation now and decide that I became angry when I was a small boy. When I looked at my family, I was angry. My father could boost and they would carry him on truck. Hello? So for me, I was angry to succeed. Say anger. Angry. Everybody say anger. Some of you are not angry enough. Well, this today I will say very serious things. Let me speak for you. Now, mommy, what to go and son of two school fees. And yet I was school now with the choir. When you wonder, you are not angry enough. You should look at your father and get angry. You should look at the single room where you are and get hungry. Very angry. Small single room. You have 5 now with them practicing now what they are crossing to the someone can taste. And what and doing and sit there for mammy no the baby, now was the baby, my forever 5 when I'm with the one single room. So boom far. You cannot achieve anything with it. I was angry. I had no choice but to become born again and began to pray, because that kind of situation in my environment, you cannot be normal and become a professor. No. Sit down. I was angry. As a young man, I was angry. Some of my very good friends who know me, if you ask Bishop, I will tell you, say somebody they get now why you want to see the miracle. Now me anger can make you make good choices, because you must be angry at the things you see around you every day. And Jesus was angry. Angry at the fact that people were looking at the Messiah and still did not believe in him. Angry at his disciples. Angry at everybody. But that anger was positive because it drove him to do something positive. That same thing, that anger must drive you. Because I think I'll be rich before. No move for you. It's not angry. And you know what you're already. To me, appetition. I've seen what appetition has done. I've seen what alcohol has done. I've seen what drugs have done. My father, apart from alcohol, he also was taking pills. Now pills, and I don't know what they call them. Pills now one more from where I. Not tramol. Yeah, not tramol again. Pills, small pills. How about fear confusion about it? Now we all be at the break. Some of you are fortunate. Mammy pass on, Papa pass on. Remember, Mammy on pass on, Papa one pass on that. What's what it says? Anger should make you make good choices. And I will suggest some of the choices to you. Apart from anger, the other thing that can make you make good choices is hunger. Come. Everybody say come. You know my small girl, Oracle school. Now I jollof and I say banana, say spaghetti or say abazo. I'm never ya with you. Remember time spaghetti yo. Now ya time na Indomie yo. I'm franical. Now ya Indomie spaghetti. And I said jollof and I fried rice. Now ya go bowl. Now ya man is for snack. So na job ya. Okay, one day but no. Or this kind of about the snack. No, it is banana. One day you go to Oba, now I just know the bargain. So the following day, if we are preparing her for school again, they will find the leftover food. And one day I told her, I said, come and sit with her. You have never been hungry. But you're not come and see and then And that is why me, I have hustled all my life. Hunger. If you have never been hungry before, you will not desire change. You will not make good choices. And I will tell my small girl, I said, you are privileged. Your father is a professor. I carry you to school every day. When I'm late, I let somebody go and pick you and come. And you have an iPad. Man, iPad. You have iPad one. When an iPad. When a woman and your friend an iPad. Now our children have iPad. They have smartphone. Me, the first phone I got was when I finished university, 2003. Copy. First phone. If you have not been hungry before, you will not desire to succeed. You go to school. Now I talk Kariama. Why I come brown? Now I'm a sadi and milk. They young sugar and your friend that Garana and I go to school. No, what today sandpaper and I graph. I need to grab one. Hello? Some of you say sadi to school. Shut up. Who won't know? Corn beef. One beef. I have students. Only one thing. Conflicts, like seriously, conflicts. And these are people who don't come for lectures. Because comments do on that. So hunger, although it's not a pleasant thing, but if you have ever been hungry before, you will be determined in your life that come and them forever. And I'm number one. Come on, them. So sometimes we shout, and say, well, what can you do? Once your father is successful, come on, say, Papa, my father wasn't successful. It will come. Hello? I think, apart from driving you to make good choices, your environment should also contribute to your making good choices. And when I'm talking about good choices, I'm talking about choices that will drive you to seek success now or never. Some of you, I can just look at your faces and I can just see that, you know, what you want to buy. And you're okay. It's a one in a you put a Indian to the one of the one in the market, and now come out in a while. But one day you will buy. The environment is where we all live, where we all grow, where we are born. Sometimes there's nothing you really can do about your parents or your environment. There's nothing you can do. I never wish my father was an alcoholic. Because sometimes he was going over for this time. So you can imagine what that did to our son's confidence, growing up as a young man. The people I saw in my environment, at most of them who go to school are training college. I'm not saying training college is bad. It's because they didn't aspire any further. Or the teacher. Why go training college? Why the teacher? My work was from so what we assess from now waka. We have army, police, because the environment we live among retired soldiers and police people. I work on retirement and was at the permanent when you want a permanent. So from me, before I walk with soldier, police, I walk by the time I walk at the permanent. That's the kind of environment that we live in. We boys, gang boys, all around. So can you imagine a young guy growing up in an environment like that? What you see is what you eventually become. But I decided that no, I was bigger than this environment. So your environment can either be a motivating factor or you can conform to the environment. Sometimes in the evening I drive in town. Reach a shop, sometimes in Nantu, in Tibaria or in Nantu. 12 years before I walk now. 12, 13, but boy now on any means and boy no one was and cry. What the total, what the weight? Maybe because no man so 15 or so inside. So in the environment, what you keep seeing is what you repeat. If you don't determine that so because of that, I was there to challenge my environment. All that you see, walk up when you're non kakra, no abachi kakra, no wama kakra, now so abaton, now nine cycle, and your friend Afashaba, now I put the power on great Abba Sasuruku, Suruku, every year, Suruku, repeat, every year we repeat Suruku 9. So you are born here, you finish JSS, you finish SS, 9, because of before I when I was a so the environment can be a very great limiting factor and at the same time can be propelling. You can look at the circumstances of your environment and determine that no, I won't end up like this. And I was determined that I won't end up like this. I won't end up like my father. I won't end up like the people I saw who didn't go anywhere. And I was ready to challenge the environment by working extra hard, studying hard. Because the only leverage I had was meeting. Because I'm in Yawan. Born in Yimbo. Never knew me apart from Additional and job. That was all I need to do. And so I made sure that I said, Mama Kara. San Country on and Kaha. And I look around the central region. My wife and I have lived and taught here for a very long time. My wife started as a class teacher, but the first, my wife here training college, 2000. The first class was class 2. I tried it for class 2. We've seen practical poverty areas. We've seen, I've pastored a church like this. Market women. I remember those days here, pastor church. Now sometimes my wife, now I do over now, or you can sit in none of my church members in your yes, okay, brand new dress. I won't come back, woman come back, not my shot at them, or watch them, number them a brand new, and finish them back. No, for one old chest, now what am I? Now our girls and our boys are too proud to wear something that somebody has given to them. Because that's the environment. If you're not natural to a gas tech, we invest in our mommy trying to invest in school. The number of girls do my class. Very nice girl, very pretty. Make a know. But school be a girl never come here on your problem. The teacher will find a girlfriend. Obi no obi boko ma wa dismiss na me ko share na me amu mutina na matuma kasa bote since that the problem it is me that will call headmistress on your problem with headmistress na wa be friend tonight teachers know that we go be blessing my girlfriend one day with the national when we go the house so I realized that my grandmother my grandmother won a mommy, I think at age 17. And I made the other son of mammy so war also at 17. My soft never for patterns, but the name patterns who went to generational patterns or family patterns. Into honor so. No mammy nara, school no one copy. No nana so, school no one copy. And I remember girl, you know why what try or course some woman who are dismissing now or about. Form 3, and on the teacher being saying, and a wonderful. When you say Nara, no, but yes, I said, yeah, I said something there. I saw what's that. And so when you say Nara, no, but so one day my coffee, I just wanted to find out why my girl wasn't coming to school. It was there I realized that. No, not the baby. Okay, say what I'm not sure because what the why is gone. Watch. Tough and by age. Oh, yes. Aha. Nana, not tough and none of my saw better now. No, mammy, will let you. No, mammy, I bet none of my home. I get the picture. And say, Mamma, never children for so I am none of it, none of sweat, none of I am Miguel, no sign of it. One day, the children telephone and say, Mammy, It's the mother boy. I want tough and it didn't end there. Boy, now on the way, or you use not the French. This is what I'm saying. I got one more. Since they are almost about 17, 18. Why would two boys, one tafunage, what if you uncle after essence uncle Binia? What's the name I mentioned? Many for now on the one way in our Biara, you have one. How? Why? When you are not listening to the gospel and you are not listening to preaching, why can't your environment speak to you? Supposing that was until your environment cannot speak to you. When no you are also walking exactly. We can talk about the spiritual aspect of it one day, but at least let the environment speak to you. But this is why I'm there today. Market no, because mamiska ya. It's because of that mentality. Market no. Those days I'm telling you, woman am saying but I realized that it was deliberate. Obia on pepper, the environment no cassette the biara. I was fed up. And I'm saying, I was fed up. Hello? So your environment can either motivate you positively or you can change and take the color of the environment. And I realize that most people will usually take the color of the environment. Show my nasi, not show my nasi. Say, turn it up there. Out now. Men are not turn it up. Look about one Thomas, one chop long. Kind of like a single. Sometimes I joke and I say, man, I'm here Alpha and Omega. Yeah. So I had no choice because my sisters in the end of it, I had no choice but to let the environment push me. Hello? We are entering a new year. When you go home, go and think about these things I said. I've not got the scripture. Yeah, in the Bible, and Jesus said, Isaiah chapter, no, Isaiah, something like Abraham, and Isaiah, the word of God, Jeremiah is gone, Jesus was gone. I can you be there? Yeah, hello? I'm not making sense. Environment. Yeah, there was no one. Sometimes once a while, some call back home. My young classmate, grace of God, yes. Then we are products of God's grace. But you see, grace has to be received. What's that? Grace has to be received. So when people want to simplify the things, and the young can God has given grace freely. So how come some are able to use the grace positively and some they have decided to drink with the grace? We go through, we pass by the bar every day. Because it's a choice. In your parties are mama. And you might have no parties. If I tell you the countries are going to, you'll be very surprised. But more being okay, they'll buy and overjoy you. Marco Caleb buy me when you'll be. Parties, Marco parties are. I mean, all kinds of whiskey, vodka. There are some of the drinking that you don't even know them. Vodka, whiskey, midnight, one. I've seen all of these things before. Free. Nobody cares. Should be cut down here and you there. Make like a brand and tap pressure. You would have asked like I know that because you did a question. Come on board. The woman would have been so. The way I'm addressing who should be around, he would have been. But Mamma, was in some way. That's it. We guys around here we. So you have a choice. Don't let the environment influence you or not. We all went to secondary school. Some of you behave as a secondary school. Huh? Secondary school, you go. Young time, you go to secondary school. You sing, sing, yeah. Dance, and the fat dance. Now what you like? So we was sing. Yeah, we sing some secondary school. But we have to make choices because the environment where we were coming from. Not me for one week. I am challenging you tonight that even as we enter into the new year, let these things guide the choices you make. I used to have a small girl around this place. I won't mention the place so that you know. The last time I saw her, 13, 14 years. I call. For who? From Menuva. Secondary school couple. I'm going to work for secondary school for 1 hour. This year, what? Because what? That is what she sees in the environment. I don't know for what reason. Because for some people, a poem is an environment. For beauty. Who told you that meaning for your color? Some of us are black in the Mara. So your environment. Be angry. That almost all your classmates are giving birth. Be angry. You know our daughter, our big daughter. We adopted her when we came to Mandesi. I think at the time she was 12, 13. When did I call secondary school? First time one track. Sometimes I would drive to the school and I realized that one time I called him to the only girl be Woko boy. It's a me about that. Soften the back. Soften the back. Boy, ma. No draw scrap on tomorrow. One day, if you have reached by, I think that time I was doing the doctor. If you have reached by, my chin and maintenance. Sacrifices I am making for you. I'm not when you are better. The son will open and should be my backup. Because the fact that me a university, a humanity, doesn't mean that I'm on protocol. I'm more protocol. And true. We sit on admissions. I can just decide that you better found, but nobody will make sure that we can try and stand or the admission. I'm not protocol. When she listened and started making good choices, her life has transformed. So look at I don't even post my wife most of the time. I'm not made it to research. I'm from going in there. I didn't know if I were going to because now when I sit down and see what God has done in her life, I celebrate the power of choices. She made choices. 4 years I was investing in her 1 year. She never played because I threatened her. Say Zabula, Abaka. Maybe your national service. When your job will be competitive job, out of 1,000 applicants, she made it to the last 200. Because in our house, what you will find are books. My bedroom is a library, my porch is a library, my office is a library, their room is a library. Everywhere you find these books. There's nothing we do in our home apart from prayer and reading. Because we have to make choices that are connected to where we are going. So if you like play, you are fortunate. Another 4 years senior high, until school fees. If you want to play, you come back to the village and everybody will be pointing. Say, and the man, You can take it like that. But I didn't want that one. I'm going to finish very soon. Look, there are enemies of making good choices, and I'll tell you some of them. Number one, the wrong use of social media. Like I was telling you, time, let me go university, there wasn't anything like social media. Young for the TikTok, there wasn't WhatsApp. No WhatsApp in your, no TikTok in your, no Facebook in your. Manaya wanna pay, be a fellow. And now, Major Montana make a say. Do you know that man? Only Major Montana make a say. Phone boot. You not play phone boot. No, say your phone, your photo scratch card, your phone boot. Then you put down the number. You better pick, your credits are out. Now it's not what to do. Today, social media has come. There are positive uses of social media because you can use social media to learn. You can do all kinds of things. Unfortunately, for most of you sitting here, social media is rather leading you wrongly. Because we now have people who call social media influencers. How can the first as nigger, how can the first as nigger be an influencer? Or influencer one? What to me the camera says, so now our run draws. Such a person is an influencer. Can you imagine an number? And those are the people you are following. They are called social media influencers. Who is your influencer? Strongboy, Shatawale. Guys say, "I'm going to we are no one make stage do no one on drugs." These are the influencers. Some of you can be on social media for 4 hours. You haven't read anything. In can news, in can Bible, in can novel, in can Bibiara, social media. You are watching social media. You are watching Stacy watching. You are watching gossip, social media, TikTok. How can you be a great person? Hey, if for bus, anytime I go for bus now, you would have Brunia Bofra or put a phone and answer with an iPad or Sunazo. I'm telling you. But the demands about Africa was saying one day I'm making uses, good use of those things. Now when you pay 80, 90, whatever, more can paper. Reading. What do we do? Hello? What do we do with our time? So social media, the wrong use of it. I'm using wrong because there are people who do good things on social media. They do business on social media. They spread the gospel on social media. They learn a lot of things on social media. But for the majority of people also, social media is a very powerful tool that is corrupted. Hello? How do I know you are making right choices? I'll give you 4. I can just look at you and your daily routine, what you do, and I can tell whether you are making right choices or not. The fact that you are not even right, it meant that you are not even making right choices. Hello? Now, and then, no, just the Sunday, so when I got born again, men pass on with that notebook. I suffer. One shall I know I beg Dinaha, and our bed in a Hana or the church house. They study. Come and teach. So the church is more or less like a school or a Bible school for some. So how do I know that you are making the right choices? Number one, the company you keep or the friends you have will determine to a large extent whether you are making right choices or not. And that is why there is always a common saying that because remember first time now 1 year now me like am fine. Because you go school be our boy, it's I was so pay your boy. Me one in the day is now. Boy now you go find boy no to me no draws on to top. No trousers here was sharing, no watch here was sharing, whatever you line in a mamma. So, what are you looking for a boyfriend? And these days they are no longer looking for boys, they are looking for men like us. Because of the iPhone. Yeah, well, my father was in your baby, I remember. So for the entire event, Mr. Why are you lying? So my mother had to hear Line now why you're winning an iPhone. Brother, son of to iPhone. I was secondary school. Why do you want to use an iPhone? Well, I'm in an iPhone when you might offer an iPhone. Now we better use iPhone. Because you were man here up with a car. Nobody knows. No one must come. They go to iPhone. Where are you going? Because that is what you see your friends do. Company. As most of us who have gone far in this life, most of us don't have friends. I can tell you that in this life, three friends, three. No more than three. And there are people who are called friends because we have similar values. Every year, you know what I do? Even when I went to Accra, not from my phone, now I started to delete numbers. Because now when you perform numbers, you want my phone, not for some year you want. So we started to delete. But delete. You have me one in the map say, you better than what we say in the number. Because I'm one young boy, or then young one, or them fast will be on the ground. Other food to be. Another order, then young one, or them will not grab or never come to them, must be there to go on. And so when I was growing up, almost all my friends were about 10 years older than me. I had very few friends on my age level because I must benefit from the friendship. Hello? So what company do you keep? One number for one number. Yes, now what that? I'm not finding out what shop on the worship on one number for you. Secondary school, yeah, secondary school from so we know what people do in school. The midnight call, still why a midnight caller? Why? And can in one fire a call from 12 up in 4 a.m. and the upper class now not ready. Legendary or something, area woman. What that? It's your future you are mortgaged. And it's good we tell you these hard truths because you see, when the problems come, they come back to us. My junior sisters were like you. But when you say, "Oh, man, because I don't want to today," because we all make choices. Into me, kada wo brother, Professor G, Yako Bobo, careless brother, solar. Not let them why they are mama sky. What I was with brother, you want brother more. Bad company, bad friends. Some of you, your problem is your friend. Uncle one who win in you want to. Oh, that is the kakra on ya. Oh, yeah, I'll check kakra. They get grab by a young when you forget about because of and you 2%. Because of most. Oh, wow. Some of us, what's another star? Oh, so for yourself, I want to tell you the one mama went to the before. The one number 4, even at this age, mine is 52. This was still a young number 4. What look at you again? I get now about it and why then. Friends. And for your age, for most of you, it's the company you keep. This year or year, 3-4 days time, you must make sure that you audit your friends. Edit them. And you could be on for some life. The company you keep. Number 2, how you use your time. How you use your time will show me the choices you make. Abroad, Japanese or Chinese or America or UK or you 24 hours. Now, check. I mean, he hasn't given some people more time than others. We all have 24 hours. How come that they are progressive and we are not? It's the way we use our time. So, look at the program. What was that time? 6:30. That's some of you when you came. Whether you'll be successful in this life or not is dependent upon how you use it. The choices you make to using your time. Because time is a commodity. Whatever you invest in it is what you get back. You must go now. Your friend be rising bell 5:30. I don't know whether still or rising bell. What about rising bell? Or you are still what rising? Well, the boy never all rise. Or when I certain time I open the rise. If you are not an early riser, you can't achieve much. At my age, you know, sometimes when I wake up, sometimes 4 a.m. Now I'm so. Come in coffee here. Now I'm going to buy and son of my son, and son of 4. At my age, 4. So I'm sorry for not to my bread, but most of the time by 4, 6 and 2 of them. Today, and I'm a bread. I just decided that and then could be here. But my baby begins at 4. From all the strength, by the grace of God, what I have achieved, and so still I'll have to make sure that I rise on them. Some of you don't care. Sunday church starts 8, about 9:30. I said, what are you trouble? Not playing Babuchi, look at Babuchi, play with Raja, bus with Raja. How do you sort it? What company do you keep? What books do you read? Hello? What books do you read? You are on this kind of book. Hello? Yeah. Finally, how do you study your money? Make choices in this life. Jesus once said, wherever your treasure be, there your heart will be. In a scar as an angel who face. Can you come and catch you? Not man catch you. So what choose car? I was in a white face. Hello. And a chicken pizza man. How about it? Frankes. Fried rice, Oh, that's that. Guy did the fried rice and you say you investigate people about it. Fried rice. How many even be out of fried rice? No, fried. Investigate. But the fried rice are fried again. She's the most honest person in this auditorium. I'm not putting all kind. So one is fried rice. Fried rice. When do you spend? How do you spend? Until my girl finished university, I didn't buy her a phone. No phone now, I'm used to have old phone, nobody buy another man. That's all I think of. Hello? Hi. You don't know it. In the new year that is coming, God will guide your choices. Young people are 7 years for ground, but still, we have choices we make every day. We have things we do. But I think that today, maybe a new program will tell them about it. One day, when they share with me, I can papa. I'm going to be a cancer talk. And they must say, I can't say, yes, maybe I'm going to be. And you also. Sometimes you go to a meeting and it's not actually for everybody. Sometimes it's just one person. You're not going to get it. And then you're going to stop. But when they feel how can no with be angry. I catch you over there. Mama, because he is me yet them. And I mean environment is